Good morning, good morning. You're listening to Montalvo in the morning. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. And it's another morning in a dumpster fire. You've been sleeping in a dumpster that's on fire since 2020. And now you're like freaking got third degree burns and shit. And you're looking over across the pond and you're seeing a good old friend, Donald Trump, or at least we think he's our friend. Maybe he's that snake he was talking about in the poem, and he's in league with reptilians. But anyway, I'm looking over the pond and I'm looking at Trump, and it's like, Trump looks like a three-legged dog trying to bury turds in a frozen pond right now. That's what he looks like, and he's telling people what they want to hear. He's telling you what you think you want to hear. But all us real conspiracy theorists, not disinformation agents, like, he's collecting them like baseball cards, the FBI informants and, their friends, Alex Jones, not, I'm not calling for martial law like all those guys, because martial law is bad, and, just working for the government, being a freaking NSA turd like those guys are, gathering intel on real Americans, not Hulk Hogan, but real Americans like you and me, and they're going around and giving it to them, and then they know when you're going to take a shit, and, they urge people to go to the PSYOP in the Capitol, the big false flag, then they're going with impeachment again. Nobody's talking about, the whole world's talking about, the porno that they found, the illegal kiddie porno on Hunter Biden's laptop. They found that on Hunter Biden's laptop all over the world. In Brazil, it's on the front newspapers, China, everywhere. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's talking about it. Except here, because the news is a bunch of propaganda. It's like, you let your friend eat a bunch of Mexican food and, you open up your head like in Hannibal. In Hannibal, they, remember when he's got Ray Liotta and he opens up his head? It's like the top of his head, like scalped him Indian style, and he just exposed his brain. And then just imagine if Hannibal Lecter takes a shit, in Ray Liotta's brain instead of eating it. Well, you're letting your friend eat a whole bunch of Mexican food, who you think is the news, like Fox News, Disney News, and all the other 6 corporations, Viacom, and everybody in the new world order, because that's the new television world order. And now they've become the medical industrial complex. And anyway, you're just letting that media, who you think is your friend, but it's really brainwashing the shit out of you. Your friend, you take them out and you feed them a bunch of Mexican food, a bunch of wet, dirty burritos. You take them to fucking Boyle Heights to eat a Manuel's nuclear fucking burrito that's like 8 foot long. And you let your buddy, eat that burrito. And then, you know what happens after, right? They take a big, steaming, hot turd right in your mind. And that's what watching the news is. Almost everything is fake. Trump's the only president that came out and said, the hoax, news, the news is a hoax. It's like predictive programming. But then again, they've been telling you the news is fake all along. With like squirrels on jet skis and all sorts of stuff. You believe the news. Anyway, this is Montalvo in the morning, so I give you the stupid news. Armed guards are sleeping in the Capitol. And not just armed guards like a security guard like Craig and Day Day, but like armed guards like, I don't know if it's the National Guard. Saying here, armed guards, fences, boarded windows. Washington under heavy scrutiny. Washington belongs to the Illuminati. So, Trump's also saying, he was saying earlier today, this morning, he was saying, all those protesters, they weren't mine, they were Antifa. And what's Antifa? Antifa's the Jesuits, the Jesuites, the secret Catholic military order. So Trump went to a Jesuit school, so I guess that makes him a Jesuit. Biden is also a Jesuit. So, hey, it doesn't matter what you vote for, you're going to get Jesuits shitting down your neck into your throat hole, okay? Armed guards. I mean, they called for it, right? All your favorite radio show shills that you listen to all day on their New World Order freaking media systems. They're all pushing you to go to DC, go to the Illuminati city where you have no rights, even the right to carry a gun. So immediately all these redneck cousin fuckers from Mr. Deeds that support Trump show up there. And I brought myself a gun. Yeah, the fucking sirens already landing on them because the disinformation agents that work for the government that are in talk radio. I told you I was going to go hard this year. They call the cops on you. It's like you're going to a bunch of narcs to buy like your weed or your coke or something. You're just showing up there and they already called the popo and they're on their way to cuff you. You know what I'm saying? The 5-0. It's like some GTA Grand Theft Auto shit, and they're the big wigs. That's exactly where the term big wig comes from. Back in the day, the white dudes would wear big wigs. The really rich white dudes, and the bigger the wig, the bigger the big wig. You know what I'm saying? The more money I got. So bada bing. That's where that term big wig comes from. So these are all just a bunch of big wigs that are taking a shit in your mind, and they're using Trump as a puppet, and it's probably reptilians, and it doesn't matter because any president they get in there, I mean, you're at the end of the day, what are you, some sheep? Bah. You're concerned all day with the person that's going to rule you. Why don't you worry about ruling yourself and being your own ruler? Are you too afraid to do that? Are you too afraid to look in the mirror and say, I am my own ruler, I am the ruler of my own mind, and I do as I want to do, not because the TV told me to, or I believe this and that. I believe what me inside my mind, but you're not the understanding, but an inner standing of yourself and who you are and what you want to do in life. And do you really just want to cower and sit there for the rest of your life cowering in fear because the fucking news took a big, fat, steaming dump inside your mind? Is that what you want? You want to be a pussy for the rest of your life? Not me, I'm here to give you these fucking fake news, but don't think for once that I believe them or whatever. At the end of the day, it's all a bunch of fucking reptile lizard people that are looking to rob you of your very air that you breathe. That's why you got to wear a mask everywhere you go, right? And now they're bringing you the martial law. Okay, they're saying, oh, we're going to impeach Trump. Oh, he's a motherfucker. He's got to go. I mean, wasn't that what, 2016 was all about? As soon as this guy got in there, they're, kicking his ass. It's like he's a boxer for Don King that had one arm amputated, and they're still making him fight Mike Tyson every day. Or it's like he's like the geek and at the high school. Trump's the geek at the high school, and all these real geeks, took steroids, and they became, super jocks. And they're pinching Trump's nipples and giving him fucking nurples and giving him, wedgies and swirlies and spitting spitballs in his hair, knocking his shoes, knocking his shoes off, when they punch him in the face, and knocking his books out of his hands and hitting on his girlfriend, Melania. I mean, that's at this high school, Trump is a chump that's getting dumped on since he got in, okay? Since he got in, and I don't really buy it. I think he's in on it with the news because no press is good press. Look, I said I was going to give you these fake-ass news. It's not so fake, actually, today. There are a bunch of armed freaking guards just sleeping in the Capitol because of a big, fat, phony psyop. D.C. is, preparing for something. Okay, I know Trump said he was going to concede the other day, pretty much proof that he's in league with reptilians that are want a communist modality to implement around the whole world with this COVID lockdown. And don't you think you're not going to be locked down? As soon as this, hopefully, I don't know. I'm not hoping for nothing. I'm not hoping for a ruler like I told you, but hopefully the full communist force doesn't come in like I think it's going to. But then again, Trump is pretty much backing the full communist force too. I mean, look how much communism you got down your throat right now, and fascism. You're up to your neck. To me, communism now is the face. You got a red hat and a mask over your face, and that in 2020, if you would have shown me that back in 1998, this is the future, I would have been You know, what the hell? What are they doing? Everybody looks stupid. The right looks stupid. The left looks stupid. And I'm just sitting here like pretty much like a libertarian constitutionalist just looking at it. I'm like, I don't want to be part of your reindeer games because COVID is as fake as Santa. Okay? So you got a bunch of armed guards in D.C., but D.C. isn't really part of the United States. I just got to tell you, being the most prolific conspiracy theorist you never heard about, I'm sure you think Washington, D.C. is part of the United States. Well, it isn't. It's its own Illuminati freaking city, like Disneyland or the Vatican, okay? And they're preparing to go to war, and Donald is... they're all in league with each other. Right, left, left, right. It's like a wrestling match. You think Trump is going to shave Biden's hair off with a bunch of shaving cream and beat him up with some WWF people like he did Vince McMahon? We're still waiting for that. But isn't WWF rigged also and they're best friends? You see what I'm getting at? It's a bipartisan, big government establishment. And I'm going to give you some more of these fake news here. Secret Service launching a massive operation to protect Biden inauguration. So they're going to bring, for Biden, who basically just stays in his closet because he doesn't want to get the 25th Amendment put on him. Like as soon as he goes to the inauguration, they're going to slap him with the 25th Amendment because, Trump said, hey, be careful who you wish for, what you wish for. And it looks to me like probably the Obamas and the Kamalas are going to get power if they slap crazy Biden, after the inauguration with like 25th Amendment papers. That's what it's looking like, okay? Now they're counting down to the hours of Trump's leaving the White House. 166 hours left. Will he be removed? Oh my God. Meanwhile, China and all hell hasn't really broken loose yet. That's why you see the armed troops in Washington, D.C., because they're waiting for all hell to break loose. Like if Iran nukes like one of the states, or China decides, forget Joe Biden. You have Xi Jinping. We're going to come a cream and tell you who really running you as Xi Jinping. Okay, that's what you're gonna get. Okay, because that's what you're getting. Okay. You're getting an old, senile, pedophile geezer that's run by the Chinese. And, I really think that Trump just wants to... if he's for real, he's not, like, being swung around like a puppet on a string by, like, reptoid puppeteers. I really think if he's for real, he's just sick of this president stuff. And maybe he goes back to promoting boxing fights. He opens up a new Trump Plaza. Or he just wants to play golf. He doesn't want to do the president thing anymore. And more than anything else, he doesn't want to be associated with the stock market crash. He's going to say, oh, you see, Biden went in and the stock market crashed. You see? Because he's Biff from Back to the Future. He's got a time machine and he can see the future. Trump can see it. So, Trump, all the moves he makes, maybe he's got a one-up on the reptoids that pull his strings and every other string of any politician, because at the end of the day, you're not supposed to like any fucking politician. You're supposed to like your country, not fucking politicians. Anyway, this has been Montalvo in the Morning. No holds barred radio, like I told you. It all starts in the morning, and new episodes of my podcast, The Bruce Montalvo Show, broadcast podcast. You can listen on TalkStream Live. TalkStreamLive.com, Spreaker.com/The Bruce Montalvo Show, at Twitter, at Bruce Montalvo, and like our Facebook page at The Bruce Montalvo Show. And that does it for this morning. How much of this is a bunch of hubbubaloo? Well, if it's in the news, more than likely it's poo. I just made that up. Anyway, don't let him take a crap in your mind, folks. You're listening to the Bruce Montalvo Show. Montalvo in the morning. So used to saying that. Montalvo in the morning. Montalvo in the morning. Sayonara.